Welcome to KennyRoy.com. I'm Kenny Roy. This is the lecture for the month of January 2015. It's called Cartoony with Tempo. Cartoony with Tempo. Yes, you can get your Cartoony looking sweet with tempo. And what the hell does that mean? What it means is we are taking a new approach with tempo. What it is a direct line. It's like a main line to exciting, unique, new, fantastic timing choices. It embraces timing. It doesn't forsake your posing, okay, per se. It doesn't forsake it, but it takes timing and it makes it a priority for the reason that timing is what really actually reaches through the screen, grabs your audience by the collar and shakes them and gets them excited about the scene. Your poses need to be strong. You almost have to have strong posing to get anything done. So it's almost like as if you get that for free. And not for free, like you don't work for it, but it's like assumed. Great posing, baseline, good. What's going to make your animation shine? It's the timing. And tempo gets you there as fast as possible. So again, that's just sort of the rundown of what tempo is. And if you're excited about tempo, which I hope you are, you're really gonna like this. But with all of that said, you may have a couple situations that you run into where tempo doesn't actually seem like it lends itself to the shot that you're trying to do. And a lot of physical stuff is like a no-brainer with tempo. But some of the things are not a no-brainer. And I got sent this shot by an animator that I know, and he was asking me how I would do this shot. And so let me set up this shot for you, and you'll perhaps see what I'm talking about in terms of like when sometimes the shot is self-explanatory and sometimes it's not. Okay? What this shot is a character that is running in a circle, and they are trying to make it seem like this character is really fast and is like showing off how fast they can run. And I just kind of gave it away just now. The version that they sent, this rough block version, needs some work. The problem with it, as I see it, is that it doesn't, each pose, each flash that you get from this doesn't give the impression of the kind of speed that this kid is supposed to have. So that being said, what we're going to do is we're going to sort of replan this and sort of start it over with tempo and see if we can't get a little bit further with this. Just a few technical notes with this. It is a character that is a rig that this animator doesn't own. So I'm going to sort of redo it with my own character, Goon. Well, it's not my character, but it's the character that ships with How to Cheat in Maya. I'm going to redo it with Goon, but the way that tempo kind of works is it's kind of plug and play. It's kind of paint by numbers. It's kind of just like fill in the blanks. Once you have those decisions done, once you have them out of the way, sort of. So that being said, that being the case, I'm going to redo it with this character, and it should be basically just a snap to get it the way it's supposed to be with his scene and when he starts with it. Okay? And here's what I think would be a good use of everybody's time while you're watching this. Not necessarily animating along with me, but maybe if you can grab a piece of paper or your sketchbook right now, it'd be a real good learning experience to have that alongside you right now. And when I make a choice with a pose or whatever, just make your own choice. See if you're thinking the same thing, or if it looks like I'm about to make one, maybe pause it and then make your own choice and see if you can when you unpause it, if you got close to what I chose, or if you got your own thing. If you got your own thing, it doesn't necessarily mean it's wrong. One of the things that I try to impart all the time is that we got into animation because we have good taste. I'm quoting Ira Glass there. And it's because of this good taste that nothing that we do for a long time is any good to us, and we're very frustrated about that. So so the point is that if you take a second to compare the kinds of choices that you're making to somebody else, me or another animator or whatever, you can actually see where your taste lies right now. That's a good learning experience. It doesn't happen very often, but I've seen animators who, like, their taste level needs a little bit of work. What they are going for, like what's in their mind as like the best choice for this scene or whatever, most exciting, is just not right. It's just not working. So my goal with this is to get you guys have a little bit of fun with it. Get you guys to take a little bit of exciting timing, and just have fun with it. Just see if you can do something that has maybe a new choice for you. Okay. So again, the shot is this. Let me set it up. It's a kid, and he's kind of like looking at us, and he runs in a circle really quick because he's almost like the Flash. And the animator sent me a question, and I'm paraphrasing him right now. But the question was, basically, do I animate this and try to get it to look fast, or do I just do it really quickly and depend on motion blur? And it's kind of neither of those, right? Remember, what tempo does is tempo gets us to those interesting timing choices and allows us to play with them and make new choices and iterate really, really, really quickly. Get through 10 different timing ideas in the time that it would normally take you to pose just one. Okay? So that's what timing does. Cartoony animation, if you remember from the Cartoony lectures that I've done, Cartoony animation seeks to create impressions. Cartoony animation is impressionistic animation. It is not pushed animation where everything is unrealistic. It's actually very realistic. It's impressionistic animation. So you want to get those impressions that are based in reality across. So basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to combine those two schools of thought right now. Take an impression that we want to give, and then animate that with tempo. All right? Before I would be kind of posing stuff out. If you remember, like the 3-frame run cycle, I would be posing stuff out. Now these days I like to work with tempo. Okay, so here is and thank you, by the way, for sending this. I love opening animation files from my members. I think it's a huge learning experience. I think everybody gets a ton out of it. They get a ton. I get a ton out of it. It's a lot easier to talk about work that's in front of me. I feel like you guys get a lot out of it. So thank you for sending this in. Okay. So let's take a look at the version that we have right now. All right, and it is 36 frames, which is good. Oops. And this is it. So he runs in a circle and turns and looks back at us like, look at me, look what I just did. Now, what is this missing? for me, what the main goal of a shot like this is to give the audience a taste of the sort of abilities of the character, but also the personalities of the character. And in some ways, this is successful in both of those. If his abilities were kind of realistic, this almost seems like a plausible run in a circle. Okay. And the personality at the end, like the haha, look at me, that's actually very cute. But in 36 frames, which is not very much time, we need to be a little bit more economical with our time and a little bit more clever with the separation of these two things. So for me, the very first thing that I would say this needs is more of a delineation between the phrases. So a run and then almost like just a quick breath and a pause and then a haha, look at me. Well, if we can't change the timing all that much, what are we going to do? It means that the run needs to be a lot faster. That solves the first problem, which is showing off his abilities. Whenever you're doing a run with Cartoony as well, this is sort of a side note. It's not as hard and fast a rule as the rest of the stuff that I think I say. But whenever you're doing a run as well, I'll just speak to this run. It feels a little bit too much based on the footfalls where they are, and not as much based on sort of the weight. So when I say that, what I feel like I'm seeing is if even at this speed, which is a semi-realistic speed for this character, even at this speed, he is much too straight up. To take a corner like that, he would have to be leaned much more towards the middle of his his point of rotation, where he's running around, and we would just have to see a lot more kind of lean on there. So when I'm watching this, I'm kind of getting a little bit of a impression that the footfalls are sort of calling all the shots here. That where he's landing is basically the most important thing right now, or it was animated kind of that way. Okay, so what are we going to do? So so there's been many different methods. Remember, there's not just one method to get that interesting timing. Sometimes the things I like to do is to make sort of just like a sound effect. That is what I want to do when I move my hands and I kind of come up with that thing. So I think he should have like it's a breath of anticipation and whip around, and then like smile, like ding. So it'd be like woo, ding, like that. Woo, ding, woo, ding, and then woo. Like it has like a little bit of a swoop to it as well. Woo, ding, woo, ding, woo, ding. All right. If you watch this one, you kind of get the impression that the sound effect that this would be just like ding, 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 like sort of even and kind of no like swooping energy to the shot. I just want to caveat everything I'm saying that you also don't think that I'm discounting the style of whatever this is for. It could be a very realistic show. I've worked on some TV commercials where every single cartoony idea I had was totally shot down. And what I ended up turning in, looked nothing like what I thought it should, but, client's always right and we have jobs to do. So, let's not discount that. Okay. So I'm going to, maybe I should do a quick recording, although I'm not sure the microphone won't cut out, won't break if I try to do a recording right now. But I think I can remember that thing. Woo, ding, woo, ding, woo, ding. Okay, so let's try that. I'm going to create that with tempo right now. And in fact, just because my scene, I really do need the scene to work at a lot better speed right now, I'm going to remove this reference, or just unload this reference, and create my sphere right here. Now, I'm not going to be using this sphere as a strict helper object this time. I'm not going to, meaning I'm not going to take my character and chess piece them around with the constraint, laying the keys down. I don't think that's important. This is quick enough, 36 frames, it shouldn't be important. Also, one thing that I'm going to point out that I'm thinking ahead of time is if you're going in a circle, let me show you something. If you're going in a circle, oh, by the way, I have a new monitor. It's a very high resolution monitor, but I figured out how to increase all the icon and text size. The default recording of the Kenny Roy lectures from now on is going to be 720p, and the bitrate should be high enough that you should read the text. So if you like the new recordings, please let me know. There also should be a multi-bitrate, so you can change the bitrate if you're not able to stream it. Anyway, that's my technical thing. For now, please go back to your regularly scheduled programming. Okay, so if we watch in this panel, the shot cam, as it moves in a circle, you see how it decelerates on the left and right? I am thinking about that phenomenon at the same time. I'm not going to let that sneak up on me. I'm not going to let that surprise me, okay? Because if I want him to whip around, you see how I did that? I just whipped it around. But the problem is that we get on either side of that circle, we get a huge amount of deceleration. So I might actually use a little bit of cheating in screen space, okay, to make it so that as he comes around, oof, how come that's not, come on now. How come that's not drawing? Oh, I have to show grease pencil. There we go. As he comes around, that the spacing of it doesn't decelerate too much on the edge here. I might actually play with the 2D, sort of the framing of the, or the spacing in 2D on this plane of the image here, okay? Is what I'm going to do. So, let's kind of, let's just have fun with this and see if we can just get that thing. Okay, it's going to be like, ding, like that. So let's definitely go step preview. We'll definitely do step preview. That's our bread and butter here. Step preview is a huge part of the tempo workflow. So a hold of 2, and then that tiny little bit of anticipation, and just a breath more, and then let me just very quickly, let's just go on 2s and whip it around. And as we come in here, let's decelerate him a lot. And then all right, so let's just see what we have so far, okay? So what I'm seeing is it's a little even, which is okay, and also we're not quite seeing the whole show here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a little bit of helping to my helper object to make it feel just a little bit, and I'm going to group it, and I'm going to shrink the size of this, what do you call it, the circle that he does as well. All right, so I shrunk the group, so now this circle is doing a little bit of a smaller circle within that loop. You see that? Okay, so let's just watch this. Okay, so immediately the problem that we have is that it has that deceleration on either side. It doesn't feel like, so what I want it to feel like is actually the energy is like woo, okay, like that, not like goes really quickly and decelerates and then goes quickly past us and then decelerates again. Okay, into the thing. Okay, so at the edges of the screen, or sort of the end of that, the left and right movement, that lateral movement, we're getting killed right now. We're just getting hammered on that. All right, but we don't have to succumb to it. It's not anything that we didn't. We anticipated it. We knew it was coming. We can get ourselves out of it now. So. There's a couple different ways to, well, first let me save this as, okay. We can use an editable motion trail. That will at least give us like where the keys are, where the spacing of the keys is. I don't know if that's the best way. We can ghost it. I think if we ghost it though, we might have a little bit of a problem. Let me just see here. Keyframes on the time geometry. Okay. We might have a little bit of a problem ghosting it in that the spacing on the front and back. Well, actually, no, this is pretty good. So here's where we're coming up with problems here. The acceleration needs to seem like it's basically warming up as he goes. So let me actually that might be too far already. And this might not be far enough. Okay, let's try that. All right, I'm gonna hide those ghost frames. Okay. Let's try that. So what I did was I was basically looking at, actually before I delete on ghost that, what I'm looking at is kind of this distance right here. Kind of this distance between the, what do you call it, the tops right here. And I'm trying to make it so that it grows every single frame, so we actually have that's sweeping right past our faces, okay? And so it doesn't slow in right here and then go fast and then slow in right there, okay? Yeah, it does need to start decelerating right here, but I'm in control of this, okay? I made that choice. So let me unghost this, save it, and now let's try it. Ding. it's not quite fast enough. And here's the great thing. We just played with the spacing, which is in general, it's you talk about if your timing is set, your spacing will make things feel like they're moving quicker or slower. But now I'm saying that my positions, I'm calling poses positions right now. My positions are what I want, but now we need to fix the actual speed of it. And since I keyed it on 2s, I can just crunch up the last few right here, and it'll actually feel like we're speeding up. The distances are right, but now the timing needs to be fixed. So I think this one can actually be 3. In fact, let's use the dope sheet for this. It's a really great tool. It's very underused. You guys know that I'm really into the dope sheet, right? All right, so this first one should probably be 3, I would say. So let's make that 3. Oops, move. Oh wait, wrong one. This guy, this is 3 frames. 3, 2, 2, 2. This one should be 1. Here, here, and then like this. Okay, so now this should, using that new timing choice, and this might not be right. Remember, what do we do in tempo? In tempo, we make a change. We don't judge it. We don't try to bullseye. We don't make it perfect with the expectation that we're going to watch it. It's going to be perfect. We're going to move on and whatever. No, no, no. We make a change almost arbitrarily. And if it produces better animation because of it, well then, bully for us. Okay, that's how tempo works. Okay, here we go. Let's see if this looks a little bit better. A little bit too much of a... Okay. All right, now let's just not have it loop right now because it's screwing us up a little bit. Here we go. Ding, ding, ding. All right, let's watch a Playblast, only because I don't think we're quite getting what we need. Maya, window. All right, so let's watch this. You see that? Okay, listen. This could be tweaked until cows come home. It is a matter of taste at this point. Okay, it is a matter of what you're going for. But for my money, this already is achieving that that feeling that we were trying to give, that swooping, that like that movement of the character. Okay, that acceleration in a circle, where the trajectory had to be tweaked in order to make it feel right. That's built in there. Okay. Now the only thing that I think this might benefit from is a little bit of rotation back towards the inside to kind of show how fast he's going and how much he has to lean in order to not, fly over, his hips the other way. Okay, that's the only thing. But I'm going to say that probably we can get that in if we're posing Goon right now. So I'm going to put this away. Let me turn that off, and let's save this, and let's grab Goon, and let's make him do this thing, okay? So I'm going to be very sort of liberal with my posing, and very sort of loose and fast with this. The idea is to I'm basically partly splitting my time trying to do things in a way that you guys can follow, and trying to actually do a good job on the animation itself. So anyway, I am going to just give myself the keys on the frames that he needs. Actually, you know what? I'm not gonna. This could be fine. Let me do this. I'm going to put a little rotation on this. And here's why. I think that okay. So now with that on there, I actually am going to copy this across to the IKs. Although FK arms might be a little bit more appropriate for this. Let me do that. I'm going to do FK. Oop, they are IK, right? Or are they FK right now? Hold on a second. U. Rotate. Okay. So they're FK on that weird isolation. Let me fix that. How do I fix that? Chest influence. I think. Yes. Okay, and this should have also neck influence 1. Auto head. Auto head? All right, well, we'll figure out the head in a sec. Is that the neck? Chest influence. There we go. Okay, perfect. And now these move, right? Okay. Do these? Can these move with the? Oh, those have twist on them, right? Pull vector. Yes. All right. Okay, so we're going to select this guy. We're going to make a parent constraint, and then select this guy, same thing, and then this guy, same thing. Okay, now we're going to select just these controls plus this key, and we need to just make sure blend parent is on all these. Key, around in a circle. Okay. Cool. Now I'm gonna just add this to a layer and hide it, and then grab all of these guys. Go into my outliner, delete the parent constraint, and we should be, oops. Cool. So let's go back to the shot cam. And this is perspective. Okay. All right, so let's just work this a little bit and get a few of those middle poses I think are the most important ones. And we'll go from there, I think. So remember, we're trying to give the impression here. So the footfalls are not important at all. So what we want is for the amount of lean inwards. See, this is too much to start with, right? So we want the lean to get more inward. We want the length of the step to get longer. We want everything to increase. All right, we want everything to kind of accelerate, not just the what do you call it? Can I select him? Okay, not just the overall the helper object accelerating. We want everything to kind of work together. All right, doing just sort of basic posing here. And remember, you don't need footfalls either, honestly. Like, the feet don't actually have to be on the ground. I don't want to go too far. I have a tendency to go a little too far because I always like dial it back afterwards. I don't want to go too far this time, though. This might not be very important to get these fingers going, but I just find, you know, fingers that are totally spread out just be very distracting. All right, so I probably have gone too far already. All right, and even down to the amount that his arms are forward and back. Right? Needs to be sort of very carefully weighed. Okay, set. So what we want to be careful of is this angle, right, off of that last pose, okay? This angle right here, where did the grease pencil go? Come back to me. All right. This angle right here, you know, we want to keep it up a little bit, but as he turns the corner, nowhere is that angle going to be greater than when we're staring at him at the edge of that turn right here, right? Because he's right facing directly towards us. Well, it's a problem. It's a problem because as he comes around, we're going to have to cheat that leaning in to be leaning forward, right? As he comes around. You see this angle right here in the back? And then it leans over a little bit right here, and then it leans, but this one is actually leaning forward, isn't it? Because leaning inwards would look like this, right? Okay, so all things to consider. All right. So actually, you know what? I should grease pencil this right here. Delete this one. Is that not how grease pencil works? I thought you could copy grease pencil frames. That's weird. It only lasts on one frame. Oh, no, it doesn't. Okay, cool. So that's what... All right, cool. So that's the angle that we're trying to beat here. These don't stretch. Come on, these stretch, right? Don't these stretch? Okay, wait, stretch. Auto stretch. There we go. Everything stretches. Trying to get good posing here. It's going to be a little bit hard on this side for this silhouette to work super well. But I'm thinking of something like this. Something like that, okay? Obviously, you don't want to sit here and watch me perfect a pose for 45 minutes. You might be facing a little bit too much towards us. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Key everything again. Okay. That's the angle to beat. Now I'm alternating the feet, but again, that's not actually entirely necessary. Gotta be careful. I'm changing a little bit of the position here. Where's that helper? Okay. Let's transition him to leaning a little bit forward. Just a little bit. Good old Stan Lee. How to draw. I had this book, How to Draw Superheroes with Stan Lee. And God, he loved that. He loved this, to draw this. I'll never forget. Well, hopefully I can draw it right now. But drawing something here. Can I draw, please? There we go. That quadricep and the knee right here. And then just that little bit of calf, and somehow, you know, the foot coming out like this. And then, you know, obviously the other leg would normally be like, you know, like straight back. You know, like all the way back here. Anyway, so that knee right there, and a little bit of foot sticking out, and the calf right there. That I'll never forget that book that I had. Anyway, so yeah, now we're starting to cook with gas here. Was that forward? I had it. Again, let's have him starting to lean forward a little bit. Okay, looks like he decelerates here a little bit, but we have to take into consideration that this is the next frame. This is one frame later, okay? And let's not have a foot on the ground this time. He still needs to be leaning in so that we get a little bit of a read of that kind of that movement that I'm talking about. Still needs to be moving in. Okay. Mostly forward. I'm not trying to avoid just doing, you know, back and forth arms. I'm trying to do, you know, a little bit of variety in there. Where are you? Something like that. Same thing. This time there will be a foot on the ground, but it doesn't necessarily have to be the same foot that would go on the ground. It's one frame later. So the right was on the ground. The both of them are up. Don't put the left on the ground. Put the right on the ground again. That sort of like means that he's going so fast now that we missed the left step, right? Isn't that what that means? I'm okay with the silhouette being a little bit wonky in here because he's supposed to be moving so fast. Some of you might be just like gasping that I'm just like posing from camera and, you know, kind of not even, you know, checking silhouette, not even really. It might look like I'm being super sloppy right here, but what this actually means, what's actually going on right now is tempo is such a strong foundation that the timing that I chose like can't be overruled. Like it's just not how it works. I'm gonna have him slow himself down by putting this foot out in front like this. You know what I mean? It's like you start using a workflow enough, you start getting to a point where you're like, I no longer feel like there's something I can do to break this. There's no longer a moment where I'm trying to get to where I'm like, oh, this shot is going to be good. It's more like your workflow is a net, and it's a strong net. And if you've done your work and you've followed your workflow, you can, at every point in a shot, not just once you've like worked on it enough and have like, oh phew, this is going to turn out good. At any point, you can dive backwards into that net, just fall back onto that net, and know that it's going to catch you. Okay, and that's kind of what tempo is, in a way. Oops, sorry about that. Every once in a while, I just I forget. Can't use the numpad. Numpad is my my thing here. Just gonna zero out spine here. Delete. Turn on I follow just for now. Okay. And then have them duck down. And then bing. This is probably too high. This is probably a little too high. I just want him to sort of, not leap, but sort of just like stretch into the air. Hey. Okay. All right, so it's creepy that his eyes aren't looking at us, but all right. And now I'm just going to leave the beginning for now. Maybe it won't be too hard to change this. Let's work backwards. sort of neutral him out a little bit. Relax him a little bit. Okay. Okay. All right. So let's do this. Let's turn off grease pencil. Erase. Erase? No. Let's go to this frame, I think. Here we go. Okay, let's save this. All right, I'm now going to turn off NURBS curves and show only. Let me turn off his controls. And now I'm going to do a quick Playblast. And notice how I don't actually suggest you work this way, but notice how we didn't need to check if our poses were working with the timing we chose. And I think that's because, I don't want to brag, but I think that's because we knew the timing was right. Okay, so let's watch this. It's exactly what I wanted. Now, is it the best animation in the world? No, I need to work on it. All right, I've been animating for about 43 minutes on this shot. Okay, but tempo is my net. Tempo is my safety net. Tempo will take me as far as you can possibly go with high-level timing choices. Okay, as far as you can possibly go with high-level timing choices, and let you get all the way there before you have to really start lining up some poses that you really iron into the shot. Once you get into like deep blocking plus, yeah, of course, every single shot you start really ironing in your choices. Okay, you can't get out of that with animation in a lot of ways. It's better than 2D, where you used to have to literally crumple up a piece of paper and throw it in the garbage to do a new one. So we have it really good. But I guess what I'm saying is that it's not putting off work that you eventually have to do anyway. Tempo is giving yourself access to those choices that are going to be a point in the future that are sort of facing you. Those choices they're facing you, and they are sending out a life preserver, and you're grabbing onto it, and it's pulling you. Those high-level choices that you've made that are very deep in the shot, they are over here. They are pulling you towards themselves. Okay? They are bringing you from that point of the beginning of a shot where you don't know what's going on. They are bringing you almost all the way up to the timing of your shot as it's going to exist, being completely finished. And here are the results. In 42 minutes, able to create really that strong impression that we were going for, rather than taking a lot of time to figure out how the posing was ever going to lead us here. Okay, so I'm going to upload this file. I'm going to remove the reference to the other rig that's in here, and save it. And if you have Goon, which you all should, Goon is available for download. You can open up this shot. Okay, so I'm going to actually archive the scene as well. And there it is. Now it's a zip. Okay, so you'll be able to download this file and watch this. Listen, I really appreciate this. This was a scene file that a member sent to me, and I opened it up. I love watching you guys work, and I love seeing workflows and seeing how people are putting animation together. Okay, so you can do that as well. Please spread the word about the site. During the beginning of the year, for some reason, there's always a big slump in the membership here at kennyroy.com. I would think that people are feeling really excited about New Year's resolutions, but that doesn't always seem to be the case. So tell your friends about the site. Tell them about this resource and what we're doing here. I hope you spread the word, all right? I'm Kenny Roy. This has been a blast. Thanks a lot. Good luck with your animation. And as always, rock on.